Welcome back to Derailed. My name is JJ Lahey. I'm your humble host here with the inimitable Mr. Jake Schyvinck, my co-host. Thank you for joining us, Jake. Chat, thank you so much. Come on in. Have some fun here. Jake, it's been a long time. It's been 2 weeks since we talked.
Yeah, I'm sure it's felt like a while for you, considering all that's gone on for you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I didn't realize, it didn't put two and two together, that it was April Fool's Day when I tweeted, "Hey, Derailed is canceled tonight," a week ago. And some people were ticked when they found out that it was not an April Fool's prank. And no, it definitely was not an April Fool's prank. What happened, and I can't get into too much detail because I don't want to, there's weirdos out there. But there was a natural disaster in our area, and we were displaced from our home for 9 days. And we actually still don't have internet. Our power is back on, so we're moved back home. Disaster crews are still working on cleaning stuff up, but we don't have internet at home. So I'm actually away from home, had to journey out to come find a place where I could do the live stream so I could still talk to you guys. Have a good mock draft, jamboree, all the good stuff we're going to do. But here's the big thing. So you probably saw the title of tonight's live stream, Rest in Power Kitty Cat. Our family cat, we thought, had perished in the natural disaster. And I scheduled our live stream this afternoon. And I went home, and the cat just magically showed up, safe and sound, after being outside in horrific elements for 2 straight weeks with no food. So instead, we're doing like a celebration of life of the cat who is alive. So we are doing a mock draft that is sponsored by Drew. Thank you so much, Drew.
Oh, yes.
But it's also a celebration of the life of my kitty cat.
I don't know how many of the 9 lives it lost during that time, but it's incredible that it is still here.
Yeah, a few. So
incredible.
Super exciting. And, Drew being an animal person, I'm sure super excited about this. I see we got some good regulars here in the chat. Even to you, Tool for this. Tool for this says, "I hope you and your family are all safe, JJ." Yes, thank you. We are all very safe. Thanks in no small part to some awesome people who helped us out. So a lot of love and gratitude right now in the Lahey household. Okay. Did you see the news from today, Jake, about the Packers? Did you see who they brought in on a top 30 visit?
Which one are we talking about here? Because I saw one from like an hour ago.
The one that I saw is an hour ago. Our guy, Easton Butler, shared it an hour ago. And I'm sure that when you saw this, your first thought was, oh, dang, JJ's going to be pumped when he sees this. Check it out. Florida cornerback Jason Marshall, my guy, Jason Marshall. Mega underrated cornerback.
Shout out to all the Gators out there, of course. Well done last night. Against my wishes and so many others, but well done. So shout out to them. But yeah, super athletic, right? You got the 9.42, RAS. You got 6'0" and 3/8, 194. Like, pretty much everything checks out. The arm length is a little short, if I remember correctly, at 30 1/4. But again, if he's going to be going in the 6th, 7th round, somewhere in that area, if that's like truly where he's going to be picked, like, I think you kind of throw those potentially out the window at that point. I think you obviously, right, see Green Bay do more in terms of stretching these things out athletically, or what have you, for players on day 3. So it feels like you get, if you look back at their history of players who they've had visits with prior to the draft, usually some percentage end up on the roster in some capacity, whether it be draft or undrafted free agency. I will pull up some of those if you want to dig into Jason Marshall.
Well, here's our guy, Jason Marshall. You mentioned the arm length. He's a little bit of a T-Rex. It's not awful, but 30 and 3/4 inch arms. So if you're looking for weaknesses physically, that would be the one. Um, as you mentioned, hyper athletic dude. Really checks all the boxes we're looking at. He's only 22 and a half years old. Love to see that. So let's dig in a little bit. Let me make sure I got the right column here. Actually, freeze. That way we can still see the names. All right. So we got there we go. Jason Marshall. 17% missed tackle rate. One of the less exciting numbers that he's got. But I'm highlighting because everything else is exciting. Let's see here. Completions. 53% completions. Love to see the athletic abilities that he has here. Look, just for you, Jake, I fixed my broad jumps. Look at the format. Does it make it better?
Yes, it does. Very much so.
I had 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks to prepare, and I came back with fixed broad jumps. And I'm sure you're going to come in with our song that you had 2 weeks to prepare. So,
for sure.
But
we got to do it. It's got to come naturally, though, during the thing. If we're going to pick him, right, we go there, I think is the way to do it. But yes.
Tyler Dershel asks, does Green Bay normally bring in this many wide receivers for top 30 visits? It seems like more than usual. So I actually have not updated my numbers recently. And so because of that, I'm going to pull up our guy, Easton Butler, because my dude has a fantastic spreadsheet that he put together. So let's see here. I'm sure his top 30 visits are in here. Pro day visits, top 30s. So
I have
1, 2,
6
3,
in
4, 5, 6,
2022.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he has 13 top 30 visits so far. And of those, we got Matthew Golden. Where's his name?
Bad.
No, Isaiah Bond. Mecca Buka. There's Matthew Golden. I knew we met him. So I only see 3 so far on his board, which, as far as I know, he keeps pretty up to date. And do you know of any wide receivers that are not on here, Jake?
I will say, I don't think so at the moment. I will say, though, that obviously Goody was at the private workout. He was the only GM at the private workout for Ted McMillan. So it's technically not a top 30, right? That's not in the 30 visits, but he was the only GM at that workout. And he obviously wasn't the only team, but I do think that is notable as well. I will say, in 2022, 7 top 30 visits for wide receivers. So they have done it. But in 2022, right, think about 2022. Who was at the top of the class? Wilson, Olave, Jameson, London, right? Green Bay
Pickens.
Just had and Green Bay just traded Adams. So it's kind of like, oh, we have to fix this. Let's figure out who we're bringing in. So they brought in 2022, Traylon Burks, Tyquan Thornton, Velus Jones Jr., George Pickens, Samori Toure, Christian Watson, and Romeo Doubs. Notice how all 3 of those last ones end up on the roster. So, and also Dontavian Wicks was in for a top 30 in 2023. So there's a chance, right? The more of these come out, right? Maybe they're going to visit with Elikai Manor, right? Or at some point, or they're going to visit with, maybe somebody like Pat Bryant. I think those are even more notable than the first round guys. Do
you think it's interesting that we have like these 3 guys? Like they're not bringing in the depth guys that a lot of times they bring in guys where you're like, oh, it's interesting that they brought that guy in. They must just have some questions about him. Like these are 3 of the bigger names in this class. I think that's noteworthy. I find it noteworthy.
I think it is noteworthy because I think you look at, who they brought in 23. Maybe they had some questions about Wicks, that they wanted answered, right? The drop rate, anything else, right? Maybe go through a workout or whatever. Obviously, they must have had questions about Rashee Rice, and I know they had questions about Rashee Rice because I have a message from somebody who's Green Bay's thoughts on Rice after the meeting that I'm not going to repeat here. but obviously they bring in Bond, right? They brought in Pickens, so there is some of that. There is credence to, oh yes, they're bringing guys in, who might have some questions character-wise. Bond, to me, from what I've heard, falls into that category. Okay, I've heard
Right.
and they brought in Jermaine Burton last year, right? Green Bay did as well. He's in some trouble already. So clearly there is that, but also from everything we've heard about Golden and Ibuka, flying colors character-wise. They rave about Golden, and obviously they rave about Ibuka. So, yes, I think those two are extremely notable. Now, could there be some, a little bit of 4D chess going on? Possibly, for sure. That's not out of the question. However, I think that it's good for them to get a good look at both of these guys. I think both of these guys can be, in my opinion, much more instant impact than a lot of these other guys. It doesn't mean that these two have the highest two ceilings in the class. I don't think they do. But if this unit, if Green Bay's worried about, hey, we need to raise this floor of this unit immediately while Watson's out and in the near future when all these extensions are coming up, those are probably two of the names you want to look at immediately and go, yeah, okay. Both of these guys can pretty much run any route we would like them to. Obviously, Golden's maybe got a little more vertical presence than Ibuka does. But right now, Ibuka, against zone coverage, is going to be an absolute destroyer for you, right? The other thing is he blocks, and I know we all know that Green Bay finds that extremely important. So, yes, maybe they don't end up drafting either of them. It's very possible, right? But I do think it's notable that they're bringing in two guys who have all the high character marks anyway, just to get one more final look at them before the draft. I do think that's notable, and we'll see how that plays out. We will see how that plays out. I will say the Packers, because regarding all this, you hear about like, oh, they brought in Brooks, and they brought, we talked about Watson, Dobbs. Who else? Rasheed Walker was in for one. I know that was a fact.
Yep.
I said Brooks. I said Wicks. So it's like, oh, these are a lot of guys that take on day 2 and day 3. Have they met with anybody they took in round 1? Yes, Devontae Wyatt was a meet in the top 30. Obviously, there was some stuff regarding his, questions surrounding him. Clearly wanted to get a good look, get a good understanding of all that, and they picked him. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Green Bay could be bringing in one of these guys, and there are probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them that I would be like, yep, those guys could easily be picked in the first round by the Packers. Would not shock me one bit. So getting some decent work and some decent looks at these first rounders. So, yeah.
Jake, I have a couple questions I want to ask you. But first, the chat is kind of going bonkers over a topic that I got to touch on.
Chris is loving the spreadsheet stuff also.
Yeah, thank you. I did want to offer that we could, and I apologize, I was talking about Easton Butler's spreadsheet and forgot to actually put that monitor on screen. So now I got the correct thing up on screen. But anything you guys want to see in the database, just holler it out and we'll go digging. I've been upgrading it to where we can compare guys from different classes. Here's the years I have so far: 2018 and 2022, 23, and 24. So I recognize there's a gap in there of 19, 20, and 21 that they're still importing. All right, it'll get there.
Yeah.
But the goal is that going forward, we can roll all the way back to the 2016, I think, draft class, and since then, that we can make any comparison we want between hey, let's compare Kenny Clark and Walter Nolan, whatever. So, but the chat is popping off.
Okay.
About redacted. So Drew says, wait, is JJ back to his normal redacted flavor? I sure am. Let me make sure I'm covering up the redacted logo really well so you guys can't see the name of the delicious energy drink that still does not sponsor our show because they are jerks. Two Wolfus wants to know what's the usual JJ flavor. And I think what I have to do is read off to you.
It's red. It's red, right?
Cherry lime. Is that the red you're talking about?
Is it used because the can's red, right? That one is, I think.
The cherry lime is a red can with
Okay.
like green tips. And Dershel just sent us a $10 dono. So I think we're going to have to do a mock draft for him.
Excellent.
Just saying. Also,
We
a sweet
shall.
note. Get the little fur ball a small steak to celebrate. Best wishes.
There you
Her
go.
favorite treat, bar none, is just a can of plain tuna and water. So
There you go.
I'm definitely picking one up for her on the way home. Okay, here's my list. Because I have the list of my favorite redacted flavors.
Okay. We need a spreadsheet of these.
But then you guys would see it on screen and we'd be giving them the attention they don't deserve.
Just
because
flavors. Just the flavors. No, like.
Well, I couldn't.
Nothing else.
I have the list right here. I'm going to read it to you. Because this is the list that I have shared with my wife because she will be at the store and she's like, hey, I'm going to pick up a can of redacted for his live stream tonight. Which flavor should I consider? So my faves are the blue raspberry Sour Patch Kids, the red berry Sour Patch Kids, and this one right here is the blue raspberry. The cherry limeade, Swedish fish, citrus, sour green apple warhead. That's like that'll pucker your face. Your entire face is gonna look like an anus. All right. Yeah. Phase pop is a good one. Tropical mango, orange cream, and here we go. Tool for this said, I'm drinking orange, redacted, and scotch. Tastes like redacted, gets you drunk like scotch.
Well,
good call. And then finally, watermelon warheads. So there's a few flavors that I will not touch. By far, the worst is the Bubblicious. That is straight up nasty.
That doesn't sound good. I'll be honest.
It's horrific. It is absolutely horrific. Aw, thanks, Drew. He says the spreadsheet is amazing. So Drew says, didn't we have a visit last year with every draft pick? Off the top of my head, that doesn't sound correct. But
I mean,
I can
probably like Combine, Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl.
Oh, sure, but not like a top 30.
Together,
yeah.
If you put all of that together, probably. Who said that?
Drew. If you guys want to see,
I'm almost positive
Easton Butler's. Here's what you need to do. Where did I put his thing? So here's his Twitter. It's Easton __. I
was gonna say it looks like a double underscore.
It is. I'm gonna zoom way in. So you just go the Easton EASTON __ Butler. Go to his Twitter, and then he's just got his visit tracker pinned right at the top, shouting him out because he's a great dude. And for some reason, he attracts a ton of hate from people on social media. I don't understand it because it's not people like crapping on him because they don't like his personality. Like, that's fine. I get that because there's people who just don't like my personality. I get it. That's fine. With Easton, they're specifically like, oh, who cares about the visits? We do. We find it interesting. So I appreciate Easton for sharing it. But I remember there's one day there was this humongous like hate train on Easton just for sharing the visits because they were like, oh, he just wants attention. And like, he's tracking this for himself and decided to share it with the rest of us. Yeah. So anyways, Easton, love you. Giving you the shout out. So you guys go follow him if you haven't already. He tweets out all the visits and he's got the nice spreadsheet here with all of the Packers visits. So, okay. So I did want to circle back to a question for you though. Where was it?
I think I started them.
Brian Maffey, shut your face hole. You don't see that. You see redacted. It's like blurry pixels.
There's no emoji there.
There's no emoji.
I don't see any.
All right. Y'all are talking about Swedish fish right now. Dude, we love the Swedish fish flavor up in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to single out a specific person to crap on them, but behavior, I'll single out a behavior and crap on a behavior. If you are a person who has engaged in just trashing on Easton for literally nothing, then, do some soul searching. Okay, Chris wants to know.
Touch grass.
Chivy, who was the best against man coverage? I'm guessing he's talking about the three guys that we. I unshared my screen.
I think.
I'm like,
of those three.
Today. I mean, if you got a really good name, that's not one of these three that's worth talking about, like, let's hit it. But these three feel relevant since we know the Packers brought him in to Green Bay for a visit.
Yeah, so I will say yards per out run would tell you it's Ibuka. From what I've watched, I would tell you it's Golden. I think Ibuka can do fine stuff against man coverage from the slot. I think you're going to get better results from Golden. Now, if you're talking about the entire class, again, PFF, the yards per route run, all of that, the numbers would tell you it's Trey Harris. Problem being, Trey Harris's yards per route run against man coverage is getting wildly inflated by Furman, Middle Tennessee, and Georgia Southern, who were 3 of the 8 games he played this past season. I think that Kyle Williams is up there for one of the better guys against man coverage from Washington State. I think Tet is totally fine against man coverage as well. Excuse me, my sniffles. 2 guys I do like in that regard as well. Royals has done a decent job because he's physical enough at the line of scrimmage, so he wins out of go balls that way because he's just bigger and stronger than folks. And I will say Elijah Badger from Florida is another one that has caught my eye more recently as somebody who should be taken a lot more seriously in the class. And again, not just because he has a drop rate of 0, which is awesome. Love that. But it's because he makes people miss after the catch, and he's winning against man coverage. He is the most dominant force you've ever seen. Too old for this. He is the most dominant force you'll ever see. The greatest. Other than Malik Neighbors, probably the greatest. Just off of vibes. But, like, seriously, like, they are asking Loveland to run routes on the perimeter. And there's a specific one, spoiler alert, against Maryland from 23 that I'm going to highlight in the film room Thursday morning.
Ooh.
Where it is spectacular what he's doing. So I think, again, you see my name, maybe not right now, but you probably did at the top. We're still Team Loveland at 23, folks. We will not deviate from that. I promise you.
How do I get this?
So
there's your name.
it's just because that's what it is. Yeah. So
look at
that. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I continue to be more enamored with Colson Loveland every time I watch him, and that is just facts. So,
I'm looking at.
I wanted to hit on this as well because I know Too Old for This brought this up, and there was a big discussion on it.
Viewed as a slot out of college, heard comparisons with Ibuka. I mean, one of the big differences I think is that we've seen Ibuka all over the place, and like the idea that he can't do it because we haven't seen it. Like this is the opposite with Justin Jefferson. There wasn't like a ton of reason to necessarily doubt that Jefferson could do it. We just hadn't seen much of it, just based on the offense he was in and who was on that team with him.
Well, I think we got some of it. Maybe not in 2019, but I thought we got some of it in 2018. Now, I will say, because of this discussion and Ibuka played in the slot like Jefferson, so it's fine. No, I have 2019 LSU film, okay? And I went back and I just took a little peek. Dude. Goat. Jefferson is a freaking assassin, okay? In the slot. Here's my thing, okay? And I'll try to keep this short. So Ibuka is, I think the best description for Ibuka is, again, he's not going to be an X. He can be a Z. And that's totally fine. Like we can make some of that work in off coverage. I think there are enough teams with like cornerback twos where I'm like, I'm not that concerned, right? Because I think when you watch some of the in and out breaking routes, he's super, super quick through them. 1, 2, 3, in and out of that break, and we're good. I think the lack of explosiveness for Ibuka is the one thing that might be his downfall on the outside. It doesn't mean he can't be an efficient player out there in spurts, but I think the difference with Jefferson for me, and again, I just went and watched a couple games for fun. Jefferson out of and so with Jefferson, the one thing I want to point out is, one, Ohio State, I think, had 2 players this past year who I think were better equipped to handle perimeter work in Tate and obviously Smith. No kidding, right? Jeremiah Smith's on the level of a Justin Jefferson teammate, Jamar Chase. But my thing is, so Ibuka does that, and Ibuka's in the slot as well because he can block, right? And obviously in 2 tight end sets for Ohio State, he was on the perimeter blocking because they trust him to do that, which is great. But I think that, to me, lends itself that he is just better equipped to handle slot duties because he can block, because he's going to be able to rip through anybody in his way over that middle of the field. Jefferson's situation was a little more about LSU would love to spread people out. They would always had 3 wide receivers out there. And they ran so many option routes where it was in and out break, read the coverage, and cut. And there was absolutely no way they were going to let Terrence Marshall handle any of that. He was not good enough to do that at all. Terrence Marshall was size, speed, stretch the field, run the deep routes, make some spectacular catches because you have the catch radius to do so. Jefferson was so good at reading defenders, so good at finding space. And again, the displacement out of his cuts, where you watch him cut at the top of the break, and by 2 steps, he has left people in the dust. It is. I'm sure that you can find highlights on YouTube with Jefferson and LSU. He is an assassin. He truly is. In and out breakers, he is just planting his foot in the ground at the top, and 2 steps and he's gone. And it's just easy bucket after easy bucket for Burrow. And so I just don't think he's on that level. Now, what I will say about Ibuka is the field IQ, the field vision, all of that is spectacular. In terms of zone coverage, in terms of diagnosing coverage and adjusting your route based on that coverage, yes, super good. Blocking, super good. So, he is going to provide plenty of value. And again, he's one of the guys I was saying earlier, high floor. He's gonna help elevate your room in some capacity as a rookie because he's so refined at a lot of the little things that you need people to be refined in. I think the Jefferson comparison is just so far over the top. We don't have to do that to Ibuka. Same thing with when we compare Betch to Puka. We don't got to do that. We don't have to do that. We don't have to be sensationalist out here, right? We can call a spade with what Ibuka is, right? I think he's another really great version of JSN that maybe is going to offer you a little bit more in the intermediate area than JSN, maybe not as much after the catch. And I think that's a really good baseline to start with him.
Tool for this. After you asked me if I did get the dono, I refreshed it and then it showed up. So yes, thank you. We got a $5 dono from Too Old for This. So we got $15 here. So Jake, I really think it's incumbent on us to make sure that we knock out an absolutely rock solid mock draft for the Packers.
So. Yep. To Tyler Dursel's thing right here, there will be a live cam on my face in the first round of the draft. So, and obviously on day 2 as well, because I'm always live during that. But
by the time Jake shows up in person, 2 things are going to happen. First, I will no longer be in Green Bay. I'll be back home.
That's tough. Yeah.
2 is that Colson Loveland will have been an NFL player for 48 hours. So,
will I contain myself? No. Am I going to be irrational if he goes anywhere I like? Yes, for sure. Even the Chargers, I'll be irrational about that for sure. Him with Herbert and McConkey, have fun. Spoiler alert, you won't. If you're playing them.
Holy crap.
On defense.
We just got another dono from Drew. This is going bonkers in here.
Louise.
And we're not even mock drafting yet. We're not even mock drafting yet.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. The Bears might take Warren. I think that's a possibility. I wouldn't rule that out. Just based on, again, Ben Johnson being there, and I think he's and he should be, I think, comfortable with Roman and DJ Moore as your two wideouts in 12 personnel. So I think Warren and Genty are possibilities. It's gonna suck if Genty is a Bear. I don't think the Bears are gonna take Loveland. I don't think they will. I don't think we should put that energy out there though.
I'm loving the notes on these donos, by the way. So Too Old for This says, give me a break, break me off a piece of that tuna fish for the cat.
Nice.
And then Drew says, donation train, choo choo.
Nice. Very nice.
Warren would be nice for the Bears. Bro.
Yo, he's throwing passes.
The Bears cannot have anything nice ever. Okay.
Tyler Warren was
that would
3
not
of
be
6.
Nice.
Tyler Warren was 3 of 6 for 35 yards and a touchdown in
There you
2024.
go. QB1.
People, so
QB1. Ooh, Chris says go get Kyle Williams. Hey, we like Kyle Williams in this channel. We do.
Go get him.
Jake, stop stalling. Stop stalling.
What?
We're doing this mock draft.
Okay.
Listen.
Sure.
Listen, we got 26 minutes left.
I
want
think
to
you
get
can
at
hit
least
that turbo
one
button.
7-rounder, and it would kind of be nice to maybe get a 3-rounder out of the way too.
Hit the turbo button.
So the rules are, since we're trying to get 2 different mock drafts in here, okay, no trades. Oh. Wow. I mean, this is kind of juicy for 23. What do you think?
I think you scroll down just a few more names from Nolan.
Chat,
no,
vote on this real quick.
We won't do that.
Are we going to let Jake take Colson Loveland in the first round again?
No.
Come on.
So here's the thing. If you go to the visits,
the Packers are never going to take James Pierce, but would you take James Pierce?
No.
You wouldn't?
No. I would take him if we were running a 3-4 at 54 with no hesitation. If we were still running the 3-4 and he was available in the second, yes, let's do that for sure. I would rather have Ezeraku at this spot than Pierce, personally. I would probably rather have Green as well. Now, I will say to the visits really fast, right? Pierce was one of them, right? But 2 others, Mykel Williams from Georgia in for the visit, Savone Revel from East Carolina, the corner. 2 guys who are available here. So makes you think. It is so it's very difficult.
I feel like I can't think about it though because the chat is begging for a 3 tech. Drew says Harmon.
Listen, if Harmon's available,
gun to your head, Nolan or Harmon.
Harmon.
They're both
Harmon
available.
for me. Here's why.
Okay. I mean, you see Darius sitting right there.
I do. Here's why I'm going to say Harmon. Just real quick. When you watch him, when you do the full breakdown and all that, man, he can eat double teams. He really can. And so that gives me the confidence of like, oh, so he can play 1 tech and he can play 3 tech effectively, right? As long as we curb like the missed tackles and not finishing, like that's really all he's missing. It's just wrap up just a few more times for some TFLs, for some sacks. And like, I just have a hard time figuring out how it's not going to work. So that's where I'm at, JJ. Are you Nolan over Harmon?
No, I'm Harmon, but it's close.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, I almost wouldn't say it's tough. I would just say like Nolan is a really nice consolation prize, and I think if you take him, I think it's close enough that you're like, hey, these first round, defensive linemen don't pan out all the time. Totally up to chance, whether we got the right guy or not. So,
nobody moves like Nolan at defensive tackle. Period. Nobody's that explosive and that coordinated doing so.
Shut up, Adam. Stop
he's like the Malik Neighbors of defensive tackles. in that way where it's like Nolan is so explosive and just never like outside his skis or like uncoordinated when he's moving that quick. Like it just everything feels so controlled there. So I wouldn't hate that at all. I really wouldn't. I do fear what Adam's saying. I don't think it's going to be San Fran, but I'm thinking like Miami for Calais Campbell replacement. I'm thinking
Sure.
Arizona could definitely use a player like that. Listen, I know Cincinnati drafted Chris Jenkins. I wouldn't care at this point. Just take the upgrade while it's there. Like I fear that he's not going to be there. I fear. So
You can answer this question for Jake, and then we got to make our pick. And I'll tell you, I kind of have a new direction I want to go here in the second round.
Scattaboo, nice. All right.
Yeah, no. I like Scatabo, but
I do as well. I do as well.
That's not what we're doing, though.
We are not doing that, though. Am I wearing a Liverpool track jacket? No. Actually, this is a quarter zip from a certain company that is for Masters Week. So it's got the azalea pinks and then the green underneath. So that's what this is.
So
that had to show out for the Masters.
So I think the guy I want to take here.
Okay.
We haven't talked much about him. I want to take in the second round here Elijah Arroyo.
Wow.
I've kind of come full circle on him.
Getting geeked. Like that.
I think he's a better receiver than Loveland or Warren.
He is.
I think he might be the most underrated tight end in this class.
I would say that, but if you go to tight end rankings, just tight end, because we're already talking about Arroyo. If you go there, I don't understand why Gadsden is that low. Need some help.
I like Gadsden, but to me, he's in a totally different tier than Arroyo. Like Arroyo is solidly in my top 4 tight ends.
Okay.
And then like Gadsden for me is kind of in that sort of like best of the rest tier.
Okay.
Like I really have him separated out.
Does it interest you that he weighed in the 240s?
Arroyo?
Yeah, that he's like potentially just trying to say like, no, I'm committing to the tight end thing. Like I'm not gonna be just a big receiver.
I mean the weight that I have on my board for him is 250. When was he 240? Was this the combine or?
Well, 248 I guess would have been the number. 247. 247.
Yeah, maybe? I mean that's a little light.
Was Loveland 248? Loveland was 248.
Loveland was.
I mean, I guess it's a little light, but I mean
248. Tyler Warren was 256.
Yeah, I mean, I know both our guys were 250 plus, but it's not like they were overwhelmingly 250 plus. I think Musgrave was 253.
You know who the
was
biggest
254. So like they I don't know if it's overwhelmingly big. But
I don't even how do you say this guy's name? The Alabama tight end. Robbie, how do you say his last name?
Wait.
You pronounce it O?
Oh,
surprising.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's Ouzts. Outs.
Oh, it might be Oates.
Oust.
Oates. I think.
He weighed 274. It's a big tight end.
That's like Darnell Washington territory.
Yeah, and he was a good receiver.
Like
kind of lacking in the athleticism, not surprisingly. Because he's only 6'3". Yeah. So I'm a little bit curious what he could do if he drops some weight. Here's what I don't like about him. Okay, and again, he's only 6'3". But what I don't like about him, 31 and a quarter inch arms.
Interesting.
For a guy of his size.
270? That's kind
of Musgrave's weight all on his head.
That's funny. I mean, he is a lankier dude. He doesn't have a super low center of gravity. I will say. Like, it's very clear. Like, if you looked at Kraft and you look at Musgrave, you know who has the lower center of gravity. It's extremely clear when you look at both of them. So it's
All right.
It's not like insane.
What's your vote here? Thumbs up or thumbs down on Arroyo in round 2?
If
Are
I
you
were
gonna
to
let me take
go,
him?
if I were to go like outside of like the positions we're talking about a lot, I would just take Schlesinger. Like if we're not doing corner, receiver, edge,
But here's my thing though. I just feel like there's other good linebackers available. I mean, let's see who all the tight ends we have are.
Fannin.
Like, there's Fannin, but like I'd rather.
It's still there. Josiah DeGuara realized in a man. Who
Oh
had
no, I
1,500
slipped.
yards.
I took Arroyo.
That's totally fine.
Sorry, my finger slipped.
Kyle Williams.
Should we look and
Pick
see
him.
who else is?
Nope.
Whoops, we took him.
No picking anyone else. You're picking
All right.
Kyle Williams in the third.
We've given our
period.
offense some help. Did you see, by the way? Who was it? Who tweeted out the earlier? And they were trying to dunk on the Jets, and they were pointing out how much more capital the Jets had spent in the draft on offense than anybody else, with like horrific results. Did you see this?
I know. I didn't.
And the Packers were like 5th on the list, like 5th most draft capital spent on offense in the last few years.
Somebody didn't tell the first round that, which I know is what people are gonna say. There's no biggie. I mean, what's been more of the problem? Say for 2022, like what has been more of the issue? The offense or the defense?
I mean, I would say last year it wasn't even close. The offense was
probably
way worse than the defense.
Last
year we had an abysmal offense.
Yes. But like every year before that, I feel like it's just kind of like, well, this unit was worse, so we got to keep committing.
However, I would point to the majority of the Joe Barry tenure and say I hated most of our defensive coaching staff, including the defensive coordinator.
Well,
I didn't think like personnel was the biggest problem we had on defense for most of that tenure.
Yeah, I think for me in the 3-4, just having like super big dudes for a 3-4, I didn't love that. I felt like they needed like guys who could like legitimately turn the corner at all times. Like again, this is where like your Pierces and your Ezerakus would have been like perfect. In the 3-4, you can attack, right? You're gonna have to defend the run in some capacity, but you're not, oh, we're good. Yeah.
You're wanting Hassanin?
It's Hassanin. Yes, for me.
See, I kind of love doing this to Jake, where he's like knee deep in a thought, and then I put a prospect on screen that he has like a massive crush on.
Yeah. Didn't start playing football till he was 18. But like,
wow.
Do you just run into 24 sacks the last 2 years? Like, do you just like, I don't know how I did that. Like, sure, probably some of them are going to be cleanup. I mean, Noah Williams is also there. That would be the.
Who'd you rather have, Noel or Hassanin? I don't think you can get both. I don't think there's any way.
No, you can't. You can't get both. Logan Braun at 159 though.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Round, yeah.
I would say Noel, just out of the uncertainty. I think it makes more sense.
I think we need bodies. We lost Stokes. We lost a couple of guys out of that
agree.
We need bodies.
It's tough to pass on that. I think again, Green Bay not picking edge in the first 4 rounds, I think is a very strong possibility. So I think they just again believe in the first 2 guys. They believe in the year 3 jump for LVN. They're gonna make every effort to make sure they see that. I do think they're gonna have to do it at some point in this draft, but I don't think it's gonna happen early necessarily. It wouldn't shock me, put it that way.
Drew's asking, would the Packers ever take a quarterback first or second round this year, given Love's struggles last year? A couple things. This is certainly not the year to do that.
It just isn't.
This is not the class. Second,
No.
are you talking about like you think Love is not going to make a full physical recovery from his injuries last year? Because like he was injured last year. I didn't think that he was like had a playing issue from a hey, maybe he sucks. Like he was injured pretty badly. And his injury was, I think, pretty grossly mishandled by the team, as has been the case for many of our players.
It does seem like he came back earlier than should have, and then
way too early.
Ran into more issues after that, and there's no question.
But there's a whole separate part. Of this.
Not in this.
Would
class,
the Packers
man.
take a quarterback early, regardless of how Love was playing? I would say not in this class, but in a year where there was a quarterback sitting there. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. If Nix or Penix were available at 58 last year, I would understand that move. Because I think both were like very like high floor experienced players. Like that would have made sense to me. Everyone would have been ticked off, but like it would have been like, oh yeah, like Bo Nix can operate an offense, right? He's athletic. He can move around. He can buy time if he needs to, right? But he sees things pretty well. I just feel like there's so many QBs that don't see things well. Like Jackson Dart doesn't see the first read in one of 3 plays in Lincoln in his offense, and he panics. So no thank you. Like, oh, he does a great job hanging in against pressure. Yeah, because the vert's wide open. He knows he's going to complete it. Show me one that's where there's pressure in his face and he's throwing a ball outside the hashes. Like, I don't think Dart's very good. And I like Milroe a decent bit, but like he can't play this fall. You can't play him. So to me, those are the guys in that round 2 range, and I'm not for that. I don't even think Sanders sees the field that quickly. I think he's slow to a lot of reads. And so like I would like a guy who like I think there are guys on day 3 that I would take, JJ. I just feel like some of these guys processing wise, they scare me. And like, oh, you have to come in? No. Malik is fine. Malik clears all these guys at this point. Like Malik's actually shown it. And like he was one of those guys who was late to a lot of reads. Athleticism was taking over with arm talent in the Milroe vein of things, in the Richardson vein of things, right? And so like it took him some time, right?
Like, okay, it is what it is though. Like I don't care what a rookie quarterback can do for you in year 1, because I'm not drafting a rookie quarterback to play for us in year 1. I am interested in taking a guy to sit for a few years for us. So if one of the guys that we do like falls to, 4th, 5th round, I'm interested. Not interested if his name rhymes with Honda McCord. But
what about Fork? What if he rhymes with fork?
Dork.
No. No.
Work. What the heck are you talking about? Fork?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fork. If his name rhymes with Bertus Fork.
Day 3?
Sure.
Yes,
sure.
Absolutely.
Or Flyler Muck.
I think he's going to go. He's probably going top 64. Shuck is. I'm pretty sure. So like,
whatever. Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, any of these guys, round 4, round 5.
Yes.
Sure. Take a swing on them, sit them for a few years. If they pan out, great. If they don't pan out, whatever. It was worth the, attempted investment.
Well, and I think that's pretty good. And that's what I think this class really quickly, right? Like, again, yes, you don't want to, you want somebody, taking the QB, a couple years down the road. And that's where I would lean Milroe. Mechanically is where the work needs to happen. And like that is coachable. I don't know if suddenly these guys are going to just process things faster when they have to, when the margin for error decreases even more as they're making this step forward. That to me is where like you get the why the Brock Purdy thing was working, because he like Saw the field, got, he wasn't like a project per se of like playing quarterback. Like you knew he could play quarterback at a decent level. That's where you're the Rourkes, the Shucks, to me, Brosmer, Will Howards, those guys come in because they see the field well. You know that they're not like these like immense high ceiling craziness guys that who are going to hit Josh Allen's ceilings or anything. But at the very least with a guy like Will Howard, a guy like Curtis Rourke, Jordan Love goes down, injury, come right in. I don't think, will the offense miss a little bit? Sure, but there's enough of a floor there that I think that they can handle, I think, what's put in front of them. Especially if they have like Colston Loveland to throw to, right? Like that's a big plus if you're one of those guys coming in,
We have 14 minutes left. And we got to hit a couple comments here. First of all, Chris, yes, I see your thing. We'll do it now. Lucas Van Ness. Here's the problem. It's a wrestling thing, and I don't watch wrestling. I know nothing about wrestling. Lucas Van Ness going to WWE after his rookie deal expires. I'm pretty sure he's going to be an NFL player after his rookie deal expires. But whatever.
Still be.
Reporting say his new handle will be the Flaccid Hammer, first coined by Freddie McFingers of the PTA Posse. I don't watch wrestling. I don't know what the PTA Posse is.
That's
or
Packers Total
the Flaccid Hammer.
That's not
Packers Total Access.
Yeah. Now, WWE is definitely that wrestling, but I don't. Oh, Fred McFarley is the guy who coined it. I know who that is.
Fred.
I see. Okay.
I don't know. I not one of the references
is interesting.
Here.
This is interesting. It's something, that's for sure.
I'm certainly here for a year 3 breakout for Lucas Van Ness. I am still not
great to see. I think this is, as somebody who didn't like the pick, I understand that this is it. This is the year. This is where you go, okay, take this step now. It was a long play. Let's see it. And if it works, excellent. It's, look at me here looking stupid. Though I would like to have Christian Gonzalez on the team, who was still available. But
Tool for this says better chance we draft a quarterback or a long snapper. I'll say quarterback. First of all,
they're too hard-headed.
Has pictures of Brian Gutekunst, incriminating photos. There's no other explanation.
And maybe Ed Policy. I don't know.
I mean, maybe the Queen of England, for all we know.
Could be.
And there's Roger Goodell. Like there's absolutely no excuse for why that schmuck is still on the roster. I'm not even mad at him anymore, honestly. Like I don't care. Like every time he screws up, I'm just gonna be like, oh, thanks, Goody. Thanks, LaFleur. Like it's not his fault.
The sky's blue. It's like kind of like comes with the territory.
It's like if you rostered me and then I screw up. Like, okay, why would you even be mad at me? Like everybody knows I shouldn't be out there. You should be mad at the GM and the head coach and the special teams coordinator for allowing me to be out there. All right. Matt Orzech is special needs. Like we don't, sorry. He has no physical ability whatsoever.
O-line, edge.
Let's take a look.
Logan Brown,
quarterback.
Brown, Nelson.
I'm good with Logan Brown.
Okay.
That would be a good pick here. There's
you want like your Vincent or your Packers met with Asa Pole. So he's the pick later. Or Dalton Cooper.
I'd like to take multiple swings. I'd like to take multiple swings though.
Okay.
But Joyner's here.
Joyner, Fadil Diggs. Fadil Diggs could be had at 198. But Joyner, maybe
we go Diggs next round if he's still available.
Yeah, you want to go Brown?
Why don't we go ahead and take Logan Brown here?
I like it.
Taking Logan here.
I think with Logan, it's like, again, if he's kicking into right guard, that might be an opening. Who could say? We still no guarantees. Yeah, I think Fadil Diggs makes perfect sense there as well. I don't know what QB is going to look like. Rourke would have been available at that pick, but I don't think he is anymore.
Brady Cook's the only guy left. I'm good without Brady Cook. What about you?
I'm fine. I'm good, yes.
Just see. Elijah Badger's still here. LeJontay Wester, maybe we tip a cap to our guy Tool for this.
I mean, The ceiling is Wan'Dale Robinson for him. Hey, it's what it is. Hey, Wan'Dale Robinson is playing football at the league, Even told for the said take Badger. So I don't mind that. Thor Griffith.
Thor Griffith has a god tier name though. That's such a good name.
I know.
Who did we say we're taking? We're taking Badger. Here's the thing. We already took
I think
Arroyo and Williams.
Oh, you want to do O-line? Listen, I got to call him like I sees him. Wester's solid player.
Here.
Marshall's not there. Darn it.
Oh, this is dry. Oh, it's picked over at cornerback. Okay, safety's not in as bad of a spot. There's still, not that we need safety, but there's a couple of dudes.
Yeah. I think so.
I mean, honestly, the top 4 guys here, I'd be okay with adding to our roster.
You like Trader?
I like him enough. Okay. Like, he's not undrafted territory for me. He's not UDFA territory. He's 7th rounder to me.
He's the guy of those 4 I haven't seen.
I would
Griffith and Dalton Cooper. Griffith and yikes.
This is picked over.
Thor Griffith. Gotta just do it for the name. Oh gosh.
Woody Marks.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's just take Woody Marks right here.
Oh, I hope Thor Griffith is still there. Pole.
Okay, Pole's the pick if Griffith's not here.
I have a bad feeling.
Let's see. Hey.
Oh, he is.
Louisville boy. Louisville. All right.
Louisville.
Let's see.
I like this.
Twilpith said we should take Baby Sanders. Baby Sanders. Got
PFF.
We had our opportunity.
This. Wow.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right, we went Derek Harmon.
Derek Harmon being
Elijah
a C
Arroyo.
is hilarious, by the way.
I know.
That's
I know. I picked 23.
Honestly.
Kyle Williams, Noel Williams, Logan Brown, Fadil Diggs, Woody Marks, and Thor Griffith. Yeah. Those grades. What?
On day 3 especially, your picks relative to consensus are going to be all over the place. They're going to be those select few who are like, oh, you got a guy who's ranked 87th on the consensus board. And then it kind of turns out like, yeah, they probably should have been available there. So there is a little bit of that. Tyler Dershall loves this. That's good.
I saw that. I'll just say this, that the for grades being the thing that PFF is known for, and then for them to give out the goofiest mock draft grades of all time, it's not a good look.
It's weird behavior. Luther Burden's better need than Derek Harmon, says PFF.
We have 6 minutes left. Let's hammer out a 4-rounder.
We can do 7. I know.
All right, but I'm not going to let you talk. If you try and say anything other than
the player or 2 options,
if you say anything other than we can do this guy or this guy, I'm cutting you off.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
What about my song?
Turbo mode.
What about the song though?
That will be our outro. That'll be our outro.
Okay. You got it.
Okay. Would you ever take Luther Burden in the first round?
Not really. No. Okay. I would take Starks though. If I dare. We could take one of the guys they've met.
It would be interesting. The one thing with taking Starks is I just feel like safety would be one of the
I know.
Frustrating spots to take a guy because you're going to have a highly drafted dude sitting on the bench.
I know.
That's just the thing.
I know.
And I'm okay with that. I can live with it. It just would make for an annoying few years.
Oh, it would.
Of hanging out with the fans. So we're going to do it. We're taking Starks here.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was already going to make the pitch for Trey Amos. Jeez. Okay. My goodness.
So let's see here. Let's see.
Well, now we need to sprint through this because the people are not going to want to end on this one after what we have just done.
Okay, look. Here's what we're doing. We got corner, defensive line, edge.
I know nobody liked this when I picked him in the mock that I did for Monday on my channel. Nobody wants Porter in the second. and I understand. I have I would say Kennard. I would say Kennard or Norman Lott are the picks. They're back to back at like 66.
You know what? I hate helmet scouting, but if you give me the option to take a Tennessee guy or a South Carolina guy on defense, ain't no way I'm leaving the South Carolina guy on the board. Ever.
Okay.
And I hate helmet scouting, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I'm totally good with that. I'm fine with Kennard.
Adam Huddle wants to know how Norman Lott does against the run.
Listen, with 3 texts, we don't talk about the run, okay? Never heard of it. Listen, this is why we love Derek Harvin, because it's rough out there.
Are you at all tempted to take Trey Henderson here in the second?
If we had been responsible in the first round, yes, for sure. But we were not responsible the first round. We took.
not responsible. We took
best
BPA.
Player on the board. Yeah.
We took BPA. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, gun to your head. Who's BPA here at 54 out of these guys? Best player.
You
available.
already know who it is. You looked. It's Henderson, or it's actually probably Ursery too, from Minnesota, the tackle. I think those are the 2 best players probably.
We haven't taken Ursery before, have we? Certainly not in the second round.
No, definitely not. Safety and tackle are the first 2 picks.
Here's the thing: like, neither one of them is like a need either.
Starter. That's why I think. Well, is Kennard going to be a starter at edge?
No, none of these guys are.
That's my thing.
And this is, I'm honestly kind of okay with this because we are not letting needs sway us.
Take Trey Harris, but
I want Trey Harris. Okay.
Okay.
Trey Harris is not going to be here in the third round, but if he is, we're
not.
smashing it.
We're not doing that. It's not going to happen.
I mean, none of those 3 guys are going to be there in round 3.
Kyle Williams has been. We already did it.
We're not talking about Kyle Williams. We're talking about.
You're talking about Ursery and
Henderson, Ursery, and Trey Harris. None of those 3 guys are going to be there.
I mean, Harris obviously makes the most sense based on the needs, but I think Henderson's the best player available. I don't think we can do this. Oh my gosh. All right,
you have
Cursed
to consider.
Mock. Here we go.
We don't want to see. You gotta keep in mind the value of not seeing Trey Henderson in Chicago. Okay.
Show defensive tackle. Otherwise, I think we take like Royals or something.
Oh, Walker, Piguse, Ty Robinson.
We can take Ty Robinson at some point.
We'll take him right here. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to take Kyle Williams again.
No.
So we could take Royals. I mean, I should say I want to take. Don't do this. Don't take Harold Fannin. We can't do that, I don't think. I don't think we could do that. I don't think it's responsible.
But it's a third round. Fannon's right there in the third round. Do you like
it would be genuinely
Ratledge?
Hilarious.
Do you like
Ratledge is solid. I think
because that's the other direction I'm really tempted to go here. Because
I don't mind that. God, we take
I don't want to live in a world where Sean Ryan might win the starting right guard job.
I mean, that's a good way to make sure he doesn't.
Okay, here we go. A guard in the third round is fantastic.
Okay, well, listen, I know.
Well, at this point, we have to.
Yeah, you got to. You have to do it. You have to. I don't.
It's getting to the point where I'm getting tempted. Oh, no, Williams is here though.
That's probably the most responsible thing to do.
We need a corner. We need bodies in that room.
That's just more responsible. I've seen mocks where Kyle Williams is still on the board at 159. It didn't happen. Quincy
Riley.
Of course, he's still there.
Of course, that's who we have to take, though. It's not even a question. We're going corner.
Oh my gosh! All right,
I like the way the board is falling for us. Listen, sometimes
Ty Robinson.
Sometimes, my dude, you stick to the board, you trust the process, you go best player available, and God rewards you.
Ty Robinson.
You're taking Ty Robinson here? I mean, I'm good with it.
I think so.
I'm just a little bit.
I think so.
We're in the 6th round, and Tyler Shuck is right here.
That's the board playing it.
Whose board? Our board or PFF's board?
The board. I having a QB that's probably going top 64 being available at 198 is kind of
We're being responsible here. We're taking Tyler Shough.
Ty Robinson's still there. There's no question.
See, God
no
loves
question.
us.
Yep, no question.
Oh my gosh, Badger's still here.
All right. We didn't take a receiver, so I think we got to take him.
Here's the thing. I love this draft so much. And then if I post this on social media, people are going to absolutely.
I'll post it on social.
Prince Capsaicin
send me that sucker.
Prince Capsaicin, what is your X handle? Because I want to tag you in like the Prince thing every week.
Here's what I
you always join late.
Okay. Here's what I want to say about this mock draft. Okay. You get a top 10 player at 23. You get running back 2 at 54 overall. Okay. You be responsible and take a guard. You take 2 corners who shouldn't be available at those 2 spots. You get a QB who's going to be a backup for maybe 4 years, but then he'll have to retire because he's so old. And then you get Ty Robinson in round 7. Okay. And you can finish it off with a guy who didn't drop a pass last year in Elijah Badger. It sounds pretty good to me when you put it all together. Okay.
All right. Thanks for that, Prince Capsaicin. I'm going to start tagging you in the weekly thread.
Just remember when we, they get out of the contract of McKinney's contract, and now you have Starks and Williams as your safeties for a long time. Get ready.
This is what being responsible gets you.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely amazing.
You send me this. Download it and send it to me.
Look at this.
Look at all the A's.
What the heck?
Look at all the A's. This draft, they say, is better than the other one.
I don't disagree with
it.
I don't disagree with it.
I think people will be going. So my one thing is, what if we replaced Badger with Griffith and you took Kyle Williams at 87? Insanity. But okay, we took Noel Williams.
I just lost it. Oh, there we go.
This is the ultimate. Goody cooks on day 3. Crazy. Except it's not, because that's always what happens. See what happens when you don't think and just do. Says too old for this. And Tyler Driscoll says this is his favorite.
Don't overthink.
Yeah, you don't overthink. You just take players. You just start taking.
Dude, I'm 100% serious. I love this draft. Five to 10 times as much as I like this one. I'm sad we didn't get Arroyo in this one, but whatever. I'll take Trey Henderson. I'll take Trey Henderson every day.
Yes. Yeah. Because here's my thing, right? We talked about Norman Lott, right? We talked about, he is a good pass rusher. But if you want to defend the run, probably not going to want him to be that guy. Is Green Bay going to take one Tex like Alfred Collins in the second round? I don't think so, right? The closest, quote unquote, one tech that they would take is Harmon, right? And so, hey, let the board dictate what you're going to do, okay?
Speaking of dictate.
A lot of guys in red coming to Green Bay. It's Christmas in Green Bay. A lot of Georgia.
Speaking of dictating, it is time for you to sing the song for us. And so I'm gonna end it as soon as you finish your song.
Okay. Well, first off, real quick, thank you all for joining. Glad we could be back in the swing of things. Glad that JJ and the fam are doing all right and are
in my
hopefully going to get internet soon.
Studio.
Yeah. So I think that's the good news. And that second mock was for the cat. Okay. That second mock was for the cat. All right. The cat knows. Don't overthink.
Football celebration of cat lives.
Yeah, the cat said don't overthink.
What it is. Yeah.
That's what the cat said. And we didn't. We breezed through that and it was pretty good. So.
And by the way, after Goody gets finished on day 3 of the actual NFL draft, we're going to take whatever he does and we're going to judge it against this mock draft that we just did. And that's how we're going to grade him, is how close did you get to the Malachi Starks, Trey Henderson, Tate Ratledge stack.
I will say, I think Starks is going to be on the board at 23. I don't think he's going to be picked.
It'll be really interesting having
I really
Starks
think
and
he's gonna be
Bullard
there.
on the same team, by the way.
Bullard, I got to tell you, I think you're out of there. I will say, if I had to choose between McKinney, Williams, and Starks playing nickel, my answer might surprise you. It's not Starks.
It's McKinney.
It's not McKinney. I think I'd actually play Evan Williams at nickel.
Okay,
So,
interesting.
listen, that's fine, Chris. It's
Chris
April.
said this is the worst Packers-focused mock I've ever
Haven't you seen enough Packers-focused mocks, though? Don't you want the spice of life? You got to get some variety. Next week, we're taking Loveland and Henderson the first two. We're going to see what happens.
I'm just glad that Brian was no longer in the chat because he would have been like, "What? You kidding me? That guy's arms are 1/8 of an inch too short. Idiot." I mean, he's right, but it's also, right after you take a guy.
But it's also like
Strabango. I just got a massive steal.
Got a Strabango in there.
We got a couple. Ty Robinson fallen.
Yeah.
Tyler Shuck, Quincy Riley, Elijah Badger. I mean, that Strabango
that day three is nuts. That day three is nuts. Imagine Noel and
Chris,
Quincy
so
Riley
sorry.
joining the secondary. Imagine. Imagine on day three, Goody's like, yeah, you need secondary help? Let me get you Noel Williams and Quincy Riley. You're welcome. But yeah, there you go.
At this point, you're just stalling because you don't want to sing the song.
No. I want to make sure the comments were doing okay. I would love to get Trey Amos around too, Drew, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think you got to take him at 23, and you might not even get to trade back and take him. So.
Right. For this says I didn't get drafted because of my 25-inch arms. Also because my school didn't have football, but that's beside the point.
There you go. All right. Who's ready? Who's ready for the main event?
Hey, listen, when you finish your song, you got to send us out. I'll have the picture queued up. So you got to send us out.
Okay. All right. Well, first, before we get to the send out, we got to go, hey, oh, I say, oh. Oluwafe mi oladeho. Now, in the words of as the great Ed Policy would also say, but we also got to, from the late great Ed Policy, we wish you guys a wonderful Go Pack Go.